Today, I will be talking about how to make your pricing page optimizations. So let's get started. Hopefully everybody had coffee, because I had mine. All right, let's get going. So define what growth means for you. So Cheryl said I run growth at SurveyMonkey. What does that mean? Growth means so many different things at so many different companies, and you need to really understand what it means for your company in terms of for you to be successful. So what does growth mean for SurveyMonkey? It was product marketing actually at the beginning. Now it's more focused on testing and optimization. Billing is part of our growth. SEM, SEO, CRM are part of our growth, and analytics team are part of our growth. So our testing team goes across the entire product, and it optimizes funnels. So the way I think about growth, and I don't know if that's the way you think about it, but product team, which I sit parallel to, is focused on product, versus I'm focused on the metric. And I will do whatever it takes in the product and through all of the other online channels and the email channels to move the metric. So that's what growth means for me. So there's always financial forecast involved. Everybody is here in the business to make money. So bookings growth is very frequently thought of as a growth. However, bookings growth is almost the final outcome of what you actually get to hit. Versus you need to figure out what are the levers for your growth. So I work for SurveyMonkey. How many of you know of SurveyMonkey? Great, because I'm going to be using very specific examples to the company, so this will be very relevant to you, or you at least understand. But we're a subscription business. We're a freemium business. You have free product that you can go and send out your surveys, and then we monetize by actually charging you for advanced features. So the three levers for our subscription forecast, this pretty much applies to any subscription-based forecast, are new paid subs, so inflow of new paid subscribers. It's how much you charge your ARPU, average revenue per user, per a paid subscription, and what is your retention. That's really all there is. Those are the three things that you're trying to pull all the time in order to actually make more money in your bookings forecast. So obviously my talk today is pricing page optimization, which will be focused on number one lever, maybe number two as well. So that's why it's so lucrative on the pricing page, because not only you can increase monetization, but you can charge more per your existing user. So those are subscription levers, but what can move your levers from financial forecast? So I call those KPIs. So acquisition, you acquire new users into your account, into your subscriber base, you engage them, you monetize them through paid conversion, and then you re-engage them by retaining them. So those are the really four main KPIs. We wake up at SurveyMonkey every single morning, and I look at these four KPIs every single day. Now you actually have a metric, so acquisition for us is acquiring a new account. Engagement for us is somebody sending out a survey. But those four KPIs is we live and breathe by. And our growth team looks at those four KPIs, look at which one actually needs help most from year-over-year growth perspective, and we go and we tackle it. That's the way we operate. So let's dig into paid conversion. Everybody wants more paying users. Anybody doesn't? Good, okay. So this talk will be relevant to you. So more paying users means more money, and more paid subscribers, which will mean your business is going to be bigger. So understanding what monetization actually means for your business is quite important. So what are your monetization KPIs? That's an interesting one. Do you see how we're going all the way down? We started at the bookings and the forecast, which is the final cash that you're making. You're trying to go into, okay, what is actually driving those forecasts in terms of your three levers, new paid, ARPU, and retention. And then you're going one step further, saying, okay, these are the KPIs that are driving these forecast levers. And now you're going into one specific KPI and saying, what is driving that? And that is actually what you're going to pull and actually going to optimize against. So what are the 3 to 4 metrics that I wake up looking at for monetization every single morning? You need to really think about it, what it means for you, because those are what actually you're going to try to optimize and what you're actually going to try to grow. So revenue and bookings are not KPI. I so frequently see people saying, oh, KPI is my revenue, it's how much cash I'm actually generating. That's the final outcome. Final outcome, because KPI is a key performance indicator. It's a performance indicator that will lead you to the final outcome of receiving money. So please, please, please don't look at final revenue and bookings as one of your KPIs, because if you actually see a movement in that, it's too late. You should have seen a movement in some other metric that actually leads to your bookings growth before you actually see that actual final outcome into your overall business health. So it's very important to identify performance indicators as opposed to your actual final outcome as the metric that you're looking at. Now, I'm not saying that you never look at your bookings. My God, no. You should track that very carefully. However, that's not something that you look at in terms of how you can affect bookings growth. All right, so let's pick on SurveyMonkey. So I'm going to give very specific examples about our business. Hopefully you guys will find it relevant. So this is our pricing page. We have a free basic package. It's free forever. It has certain restrictions around the features that you use, but you can definitely send a survey with that. And then we have 3 main levels: Select, Gold, and Platinum. So each level has more and more features, as you can see in the cascading pricing page. And this is really our way that we make money on our main self-serve business. All right, so questions you should ask about your conversion funnel. Before going from this page and what to do with it to drive more users, you need to understand who is actually seeing it. And it might be very easy, well, duh, my customers are seeing it. But it means very different things. And for you to really understand and optimize this page, you really need to understand who is actually interacting with this page. So what questions should you ask about your conversion funnel? So number 1, do all pricing entry points convert the same, or do they convert differently? And if not, and I guarantee you they will not, why not? Okay, so this is our main creators of the SurveyMonkey survey platform. So you can see what I've outlined here in the little orange circles, the 3 main entry points into your pricing page from the main interface. So what you have here on the side are actual specific features that will take you to the pricing page. You have plans and pricing link in the header, and then you have the upgrade yellow button all the way in the corner there. So now I'm going to survey the room. I have to, right? I'm from SurveyMonkey. Okay, so who thinks that the highest pricing to order conversion will be from the features? Okay, so probably about 15% of the room. How about from plans and pricing? Okay, a little bit more, probably 30-40% of the room. And how about an upgrade button? Okay, so plans and pricing and upgrade buttons seem to be about divided in terms of highest price to order conversion. Well, here's what we've seen. Plans and pricing has the lowest conversion. Why? Because people are just trying to see what we have in plans and pricing. There's really no intent to actually upgrade there. They just wanted to shop around and see what else is available. So there's a lot of entries there, but very few orders actually coming out. But it's a very important discovery point of our plans and pricing, so that's why we have that link there. Now, features. Features are pretty high intent. You're clicking on it and you're saying, I need this. This is a paid feature. I'm going to hit the pricing page. However, to go and to pay, let's say, $300 for one specific feature, nobody's going to do that unless you're very price insensitive and you're just willing to shell out money. But otherwise, people hit multiple features over and over again before they actually say, oh, now it's worth it. So features, lots and lots of entries. Overall, on the user level, it's actually pretty high pricing to order conversion rate. It's a very high intent, but at the same time, there's a lot of funnel entries through those. So pricing to order overall is actually second highest. The highest is the upgrade button in the top corner. Why? What's the language on it? It says actually upgrade. You're ready to commit to the action and you're saying, I'm gonna pay for your product. And that usually, a lot of people enter through features or they explore plans and pricing, but then when they finally go to upgrade, they just hit I'm upgrading and they go through that button. So understanding where people are coming from and actually having different pricing pages depending on the entry quite matters. So if you go to plans and pricing, free, which is our package, obviously, is going to be in the view there. Versus if you go into any of the upgrade buttons, free package will not be on the pricing page Because why? In plans and pricing, you're shopping around, so sure, show your package free and what it has to offer. And other buttons, no. Keep it more streamlined and show exactly what you want them to go. Okay, how about types of users that enter your pricing page? Is it first entry versus nth entry? That matters a lot, especially if you go into A/B testing afterwards. Because why? And this is obviously, this is not a real data, but in terms of number of times that users enter pricing and the order rate, the more you enter into pricing page, the more times you hit those upgrade wall triggers for us, the higher your upgrade rate is. So at the beginning, you have a lot of people entering it, but very few orders. With each additional entry, your order propensity continues to go up. So you can optimize against that. Okay, how about user state? Time since account creation. Have you churned previously? Were you a paid? Are you currently paid user? That means in the behavior on the pricing page changes a ton. So time since account creation. The longer the time is from account creation, the lower your order rate is. Because you pretty much should decide if you need our paid offering pretty quickly, within the first 24 hours to 7 days. And if you haven't upgraded after that, your chances to upgrade continue falling because you're probably just satisfied with the free offering that we have, which is great. So we actually, in terms of how aggressive you potentially want to be with your pricing page, depends on how old the account really is. Okay. What are the use cases that are price sensitive versus insensitive? What is the conversion timing by use case? So I'll give you a couple of examples that we have. So these are our main, some of the biggest categories that we have. So we have customer satisfaction, market research, event planning, education, and employees in HR that are doing surveys. So guess what? Market research. Usually, you're in a company, you have a budget for your market research, you're actually going to be willing to pay to us $200-300 pretty easily for an annual subscription. Versus you in education and you're doing, let's say, an academic research project, which is a one-time use case, and you're done with that for that semester, your propensity to pay to us will be a lot lower. And guess what? Your pockets are not that deep either. So maybe you will go with our monthly offering, but maybe you're actually just going to go with the free offering altogether because you're more price sensitive. So depending on which use case you are, suggesting different packages or really showing different specified custom pricing pages make a big difference. And I'll tell you some of the wins that we've had in the past with this type of experimentation. And there's many others that you should actually consider. Is it high intent versus low intent acquisition channels? So what is high intent? Somebody searching your name on Google and they're coming to your site. That's as high intent as you get. Somebody was looking for you. Versus low intent, somebody landed on it through some other channel or referral link that they've got, and they're just exploring and shopping around, or they're not really sure even what they're doing. Mobile versus desktop users on mobile, and depending on the type of application, so our application is very productivity based, so we have mobile is more discovery, desktop is very much more of I'm going to go and do a survey. So intent very much changes depending on which type of device you come to us. And language, country, obviously. If your brand is not very well known, or the type of offering that you're giving in some country is not very well adopted yet, your pricing page should differ based on that. So now you know who is visiting your pricing page, which is extremely important. Now it's time to optimize. And what I mean by optimize, I mean A/B test. So in A/B test, what I think is very important to have is some sort of A/B testing framework that you're working around. The way that we do it is we always have an observation. An observation is, for example, our customer satisfaction vertical is not converting as much as we believe they should. Then you form a hypothesis. So you have observation. What is your hypothesis? Your hypothesis is control, just don't do anything. Versus variation, or the variation that you're going to be testing is, hey, let's customize that experience, or let's show something different, and let's see if we can increase conversion rate. Then, after you do hypothesis, you do your testing, and the main point here that I want to emphasize is learning. One of the success metrics for A/B testing that we have is to fail more than 50% of the tests. And that might sound really weird. Why would you want to fail more than half time? But guess what? If you had a hypothesis and you succeeded, that's great. You know your customer. But if you had a hypothesis and you failed, you had an essential learning. You actually learned something new. You thought that it's going to behave this way, but it didn't. And those learnings are absolutely crucial to form new hypotheses, so you can actually iterate and create something very interesting for your product. So and don't be afraid of failure. If you don't have a failure as a success metric, it's very frequently that people don't want to take chances. So take chances, embrace failure, call them learnings, and celebrate them, because it's very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to get up in the space where you're doing a lot of tests, and they really don't mean much. So after you have your hypothesis, how do you know if you have even enough traffic to test? I would say there's lots of sample size calculators out there. So just look at how much traffic you have, what is your success metric, such as orders, and see how much traffic you will need to actually reach some sort of statistical significant answer, and see if you have enough traffic to support that. I would say don't test unless you can get results within a month. You don't want to be testing something for 6 months and then your product already changed by then, your customers have changed by then, so you don't necessarily want to do that. But if you can get any results within the month, do it. And usually just don't do as many variations, only one variation at a time, so you can actually get results somewhat quicker. But the one thing that I also want to say about pricing page that we've realized potentially a little bit too late is that people don't like when pricing pages change on them. So once you actually got somebody into pricing page experience, don't try to change it on them after they get into initial variation. So make it user-specific, not cookie-specific, as much as possible. Why? Because if I go to a pricing page and I see, let's say, price $25, and then I revisit the page a week later and the price is $30. That makes me very angry. I don't know how about you, but I want the lower price that I've seen. Or if the pricing layout changes altogether, I'm like, I've studied that one, I understood what it is, and now you've changed it on me. Now I have to invest my time again. My time matters, and I'm not going to do this. I'm going to just bounce. So try to make it as persistent as possible. So make it sticky on the customer ID, not cookies. And anytime we actually do any A/B test, these are the segments that we break it up against, because actual successes look very different depending on which bucket that they fall into. So churned users, what I mean by that is you've been paid, and now you're again in a free status. So those users, they have a previous experience with our pricing page, and they have a previous experience with our paid offering. They react very differently the next time they enter in pricing page. Existing free users versus brand new users. This one's interesting, because even if you're a free user and you've seen pricing page before, again, if you launch a test and all of a sudden it changes, your experience very likely to actually, the success rate of that group to go down. Versus brand new users who've never had any experience with any other pricing page, this is your cleanest sample set. They've never had any history with you. This is what you've presented with them. Do they convert or do they not convert? So that's usually the absolute cleanest user set. And then there are currently paid users, obviously, that are looking for higher packages. They also will be behaving very, very differently. So a lot of times when we break it up and we look at success metrics, so for example, in existing free users, we drop conversion, pretty much guaranteed, anytime we run any pricing test. Because again, you're switching views on them. Versus brand new users, you're increasing conversion. And then we go into financial forecasts and we say, okay, well, existing users right now make up majority. In 3 to 6 months, they're going to make up minority, because brand new users will overtake that. So at which point do we actually break even? So we actually expect there to be degradation to our new paid numbers for potentially a month after launching a variation and setting that as new control, because we know those existing users will convert worse, but long term it will be better. But knowing that is important, because when you find a winner, for example, on the overall, and you launch it, and all of a sudden you see your numbers drop, how do you explain that? Well, you explain that by looking at these results, and you kind of know exactly when you actually uptick and then you're going to see it. Okay, optimizing for use case. So EDU, we have frequently asked questions on our pricing page. We went into a very specific EDU-based model, because the people that know EDU, they know who they are, versus if you're doing customer satisfaction, it's a little bit more blurry. And we offered them a specific pricing page, and we saw double-digit lift in conversion just by offering this in FAQs. FAQs are huge. Please use them. They actually seem to be working pretty well. There's also different pricing pages in terms of the use case that you are. When we onboard people, we actually ask them, what are you here to do? Based on that answer, we customize your pricing page, and we show the features that are actually relevant to you. So we're actually improving user experience while increasing conversion. Double win. Okay, what in terms of for us actually won in the past? So customizing pricing per use case. Use case actually is not only SurveyMonkey use case specifically, but channel, which is high intent versus low intent use case. That worked a ton. So in terms of if you're showing, so we have monthly and annual offering. If you're showing annual offering to higher intent use cases that are familiar with your brand, and usually they have more price insensitive type of pockets. So they actually convert a lot higher. So showing it a little bit more of your higher offering works, versus on the lower intent, we actually remove sometimes high-end packages, and we try to simplify to only have free and basic view. So that matters a lot. Another one that's winning for us as well is not having the same pricing page across all accounts. It's pretty. You think it's normal, like, okay, yes, obviously somebody in India should not be seeing potentially the same pricing page as somebody in UK or somebody in Australia or US, but it actually, once you're at the scale of the business that you're going international, think about it, because not only different prices based on their GDP growth, or even Big Mac index that you can use as a guide of what your pricing should be in different markets, but different offering in terms of packages. Not all countries know how to do subscription, or they're not familiar with subscription models. So more of a one-time use case is actually more profitable for those markets. And a pricing display. So this one's kind of funny, but showing at $25 a month, billed $300 annual versus $300 a year will have a pretty significant impact to your conversion. People like to see smaller increments, even though there's a longer commitment, because they think about it not from an annual perspective, they think it from a month, from a day, from a week, and that actually helps improve conversion. Now, you need to be very clear that it's billed annually, so don't try to be too tricky with that, but it actually makes a pretty big difference in terms of how you display your pricing. And by locales too. So for example, in Europe, 25 a month doesn't really work. I don't know why. However, in Australia, in US, and Canada, it works wonderfully. Again, I don't know why. You need to test it into your customer base. Showcasing packages you want customers to choose, and positioning your popular package in the middle of the pricing page, not as most expensive option. In our psyche as people, we do not like to buy most expensive thing that is available, period. So you have the package that has the most expensive. So for us, it's white label. If you remove our branding, or if you want phone support, you're gonna pay a premium. But it's not applicable to all, and it's more of an escalator into more of a higher corporate enterprise offering. So for the other one, the gold package that was in the middle, we positioned that as actually our most important package and most popular package, which it is. But if we remove the platinum package, which I showed you at the beginning, we actually would get more people going into select, because they just don't want to buy most expensive offering. So create a package that is only going to be applicable to higher end use case that you can monetize a lot higher, that is not going to care how much they pay. Put in some very advanced features into it, but put your most popular package more in the middle. It does matter, and it does help customers not feel like they're just overpaying for your product by picking the most expensive use case, because nobody wants to do that. Okay, and making decisions easy, skipping pricing page altogether, or defaulting to relevant package based on the feature selections. So this is one we're doing a lot, and we're testing it right now, actually, in our Create interface. When you start adding features, you can actually add features, paid features for free. It's just you can't send a survey. If you added a paid feature, you have to pay for it. And depending on which features you've added, we actually suggest you other features, and we customize a pricing page on that. So as much as possible, delivering only relevant information to users on the pricing page is widely important, because it actually improves their decision making, and it improves them understanding of why your product is important and why they should pay for it. So what didn't work? Skipping pricing for previously paid users, that one I thought was a gimme. Hey, you've paid before, let's say you were on the gold package before, and why don't we just skip the pricing altogether for you and just default you to gold checkout? Failed miserably. People still wanted to decide, okay, hey, I'm doing another survey, I'll decide what package I want. So removing that step altogether lost our conversion, and people wrote in very complaining to us saying, why are you skipping me? This is not what, just because I signed up for it before doesn't mean I want to sign up for it again. Give me choices again. Did not work. That was a good learning for us. Surfacing pricing page in a sign-up flow. So this is a freemium specific. So when you sign up, making people actually choose which package that they want to sign up. If you're a free trial, that might be an absolute necessity for you. For freemium business, for every given sign-up, it actually doesn't work. It drops our sign-up rate, and then it drops our conversion rate as a result as well. So for some high-intent channels, we do surface it because we know that they're going to be very likely to upgrade, but to use it as a rule of thumb did not work whatsoever. And we thought that by exposing more people to pricing, we'll get more orders. No, it did not work like that. Order, so order of packages matter. If you show most expensive package first, you think, oh, more people are gonna choose it, I'm gonna lift ARPU, more people are gonna choose most expensive offering. Does not work again, because you see the most highest price point, and people get scared, because they go, whoa, that's what they actually cost, because you scan left to right. So you see that price, that package, and that price point, and you bounce. So lost actually conversion overall on that. And what happened here? Did I cover them all? Sorry, I don't know what. One moment, please. I made lots of slides. Okay, discounting without targeting. So I'm all out of time, but I'm going to say it anyways. Don't just offer discount to increase your conversion. You don't want to offer a perception around your product that the discounting offering is always available. Because what? One time you see a discount for any given offering, you're actually not going to probably buy any time again unless you see that discount one more time. That's just the human nature. We want the best price possible. So the moment you offer discount, you create a pretty much a recurring expectation that discount is going to be available there. Position your product at a fair price and only offer discount in a very, very targeted fashion, even if you think it's worth it. We've tried it a few times. The lift in conversion that we saw never justified the loss in ARPU that we received, and we actually did not see as big of a lift in conversion by dropping discount, let's say 5 to 10%. So that's all I have. Hopefully it was helpful. Thank you very much.